Welcome to the assembly video for our little milk carton freebie. And it's a nice little coordinating piece for those of you that purchased our Down on the Farm bundle. And that's what we're gonna put together today. So let's just jump right in. We've got a little bit of paper piecing to do just to kind of get some things set up. And well, if you wanna find these three pieces here, we're gonna put together the word fresh, because it's fresh milk. I don't think we want to consume any expired or old milk. So on this little piece, it's a pretty delicate piece. So we're just gonna want to, well, just use little dots so that we don't get glue going all over the place. So you're gonna find this piece and pop it right on top of the little black piece. And this is just so that creating this word is easier. And then we'll put our glue on the back of this black piece here. Again, go kind of easy. It's a very small piece, doesn't need a lot of glue. And we're going to put that on the solid blue color. Okay, and that'll kind of fill in the center of our R. Okay, so we got that. We'll just put that off to the side, let that set. We have two little milk jugs that we need to assemble. And they're made up of these three pieces. It's going to go like this, just like that. So it doesn't matter where we start. I'm going to start with the center, glue that to the back, and then we'll put the top on. You can work the other way around if you want. It's pretty straightforward, not much to it. Okay, so that's going to go right there flush on the bottom. So essentially the darker, I think this is AC Ash, is the darker color. It's gonna make up the milk portion as well as the little bottle cap or the top of our little milk jug here. And then we'll grab this. And make sure you grab the right one because they're kind of mirrored and opposites. Obviously, it'll only work one way and only fit one way. So, but that's essentially what we're looking for. And we'll do the same thing with the other one here. Grab your glue. And it did not do any inking to this. I think it pretty much, well, you can if you want. Never hurts, but I think there's plenty going on. And I don't really think it needs it, but that is a personal preference. So you decide if you want to do that or not. Okay, and the top part going on next. Okay, here we go. We're gonna end up using some foam squares to pop this onto the actual container in just a moment here. Okay, so we've got that. That's all done. The rest of this pretty much requires that we begin assembling our actual container. So I have the two sections required to do that here. I use the solid scoreline version and pre-folded everything. I'll just kind of walk you through my folding methods. I folded this section here, and then I folded this, and then I went over here and folded it long ways. And then you'll notice that on this side here, there's a little score mark right here. You want to fold that. You want to do a valley fold there. And then after you get that folded, you can go ahead and fold these over like that. Don't stress this area too much, but just get it folded so that it's ready to go. Okay, you can do the same thing on this side. And just need to connect these two sections together now. Okay, so I'm going to start with this larger tab here. Get my glue on the large tab. We're gonna paint that glue out to the very edge. I got some kind of something on there, some sort of foreign object. And just line that up right next to the other piece. You can kind of use the little score mark there to guide you. Make sure that you've got it nice and aligned. And go ahead and press that down. I'm going to fold it over onto itself just to make sure that I've got it nice and aligned. There we go. And just press and hold that for a moment. And then I can move on to the next section here. Throw some glue on this tab. You can go up or you can go, oh actually no, you gotta do this one. My bad. Do this one next. And this section here for now, we can glue this down flat. Eventually it will fold like your typical milk carton does. Okay, so we got that. You can fold that over onto itself. Check your alignment there. That looks good. Press that down. And finally, this tab here. It's pretty small, so don't overdo it with the glue. And just tuck that back, line it up. There we go. Press that down. Perfect. And now, I'll take the other side here, and we're just going to glue this together. Start with the large tab, just like we did before. Smear that glue out to the edges, get it nice and crisp, and get that nice and lined up. And then go ahead and fold it over onto itself and check your alignment. Make sure it looks good and feels good. Mine feels good. It's sitting nice and flat. That's also another indicator that you've got everything nice and aligned properly. And we'll move on here to this tab. There we go. So everything with this Down on the Farm bundle has a nice vintagey farm feel. And I don't know that I've seen a milk carton SVG. Maybe I have, I don't know. But obviously, definitely put our own spin on it. Okay, so the last tab here. Get that glued down. Just press that down. Okay. All right, so you'll see how that's going to go together ultimately, just like a milk carton. Okay, we're going to use some ribbon, create a little bow to hold it all together. Okay, so now the bottom's going to close like that. Okay, and then we're going to take the smaller one and glue that down first. So essentially, all you need to do is just throw a little bit of glue on this section here. It's a little different than what we're used to, but that's okay. And then just make sure that it's nice and square. And if you can't get your hand in there, you can always use a little dowel or something, but I'm just going to use my hand to push down and get that glue to make contact. And then we can just put glue on this tab here, or this little flap. I guess it's not really a tab. I guess it kind of is. And we'll just close that up. Should pretty much line up all the way to the edge here. And if it's slightly off, it's not a big deal. And I would not put milk in this, obviously. Don't want to do that. Okay, so there's our container. Good size for, decent sized little gift. You can throw a gift card in there, some treats, some handmade cookies, or whatever it is you want to do. And so we're going to close this up. Now you'll notice that on one side here, you got a series of little markers. Okay, and let me take a look here. And then there's also markers on this side, but then there's markers down here as well. Okay, and that is where the word fresh is going to go. Okay, so we can actually just get that glued into place. It's something simple we can just get out of the way. And then we'll put the main part of this in place here. So use those little markers to help you get this nice and centered. Pop that right there. Okay. And we also have on the front, we're going to add this little piece here, and it's going to go right there. There's some little markers to guide you. Also make sure this part here that's flat is nice and flat and flush up against the side. Okay, so grab some glue, put it on the back of this, and pop that right into place. Just make sure that you're using the little guides there. Now you'll notice that right next to it, essentially right next to where this thing is going to sit, there are some more little markers there. And we're actually going to fill those in with a little gel pen or a pen. And then there's also a little black dot. And this little black dot is going to go right here on that little shadow section of this piece. So we're going to pop that right there, like so. Make sure it's nice and centered. There we go. That looks good. Okay, then we have this piece here is going to go right here where you have these little markers, and essentially these are like little spots that you would see on a cow. That's kind of cute. Okay. So get your glue on that. Make sure that the flat edge of this is nice and aligned and flush with the edge of the top of the box here. Okay, so that's essentially what that should look like. Now if we flip this over, we've got two more little pieces here that, again, make up our little cow spots. So get your glue on that and just follow the little markers, and obviously just visually check out the way I'm putting it down. Should pretty much guide you and get you in the right spot. Should look like that. Okay, and then we've got one more little guy here. Almost looks like a little guitar pick. And that's going to go right here, like so. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the front, and we're going to grab this piece. This piece is going to go right on here, nice and flush at the bottom, I should say. And we're going to start by just gluing down the center part first. So get your glue on the middle of this section here, and get some glue on that cow. I don't think I've ever said that. I said put glue on a cow. Interesting line of work here, Leo. You're gluing cows now, huh? Okay, so we've got the front on there, and we'll go off to one of the sides. And we do have this little tab here. You can ignore that for now. Just get your glue on the main chunk of this thing here. You're going to glue that to the side, and then that little tab will go on the back. And you might need to, if you need to give it a little stretch, feel free to do that. But again, make sure that this piece that I'm putting down, that you're putting down as well, is nice and flush with the bottom. Okay, and then you can take and apply just a little bit of glue on this tab here. And we're going to glue that right to the back. And essentially that's to, well, when we put the last piece in place, it's going to make everything look more seamless, which is nice. Okay. If you need to kind of prop this up a little bit as you're pushing down on this tab, you can do so. And then we'll peel this back. Do side number 3 here. And get that on there again. Just make sure that you got it nice and flush with the very base of the box. I'm going to put this down on my surface. Should have done that before, but that's okay. There we go. And the little tab. Get that glued down. And pull that glue out to the very edge of that tab if you want. And press and hold that down. Again, you can use your surface to get some additional leverage there. Perfect. Now we can close it up with this piece. I'll just throw some glue on this guy. There we go. And just make sure it's nice and centered, nice and flush with the left and right, and also nice and flush with the bottom. I'm going to put that down on my surface, press down. Okay, there we go. And now we can move on to the black section. And essentially we're doing the same thing here. We're going to start with the cow. Now the cow's tail is a little delicate, so be careful not to rip the tail off. And what I would do is probably just put glue on just the bottom of the tail. And I'd probably just hit that with my finger a little bit so that it doesn't go squirting all over the place. Now the bottom of this needs to be flush with the bottom of the box, as well as that blue piece that we just put on there. Make sure that tail is making good contact as well. There we go. Okay, and just like we did with the blue area, the blue little overlay, we'll do the same thing with the black. And again, just make sure that it's nice and lined up with the bottom. And then we've got that little tab there. Throw a little glue on that. There we go. And fold that over, press down and hold. There we go. And we can move on over to this side here and add your glue. There we go. Fold that over again, making sure that it's nice and flush with the bottom. That looks good, pretty spot on. Let's get it, spot. Boy, when I do these a little too late, the jokes are just not that good. Okay, and that last little tab there, just press and hold that down, give it a few moments. Okay, so there we have the little cow. And then take this piece, and we're gonna close it off, just like we did with the blue section. Get your glue on there. Make sure you get some glue out to the very edges here as well, so that it doesn't come peeling off. Get that nice and aligned with the very base, like so. Press that down, hold it for just a moment. Okay. Now the cow has some little cutouts there, and those are just little guides to help you place the word milk. Okay, so grab this little piece here, and I'm just going to use a series of tiny dots of glue in just a few little spots. You don't need to cake this with a ton of glue. It'll hold with very little glue. Oops. It's kind of a delicate piece, so be careful. And you just want to line it up with the little markers there. Now I'm doing this, I'm putting this onto black cardstock, so I want to make sure that I get my placement as accurate as I can first time around. And I did a little bit too much glue there. Got a little bit of it kind of coming out, but I'm just going to grab my X-Acto and pull some of that out of there before it fully sets and creates that little glossy sheen. Okay, there we go. And there we have fresh milk. And again, here on the sides, I'm going to take that. You can glue that down flat if you want. I'm just going to grab a couple foam squares, and we're going to pop dot this, give it a little dimension, peel off that backing, and just match that up with the blue section there, and then do the same thing on the other side. All right, so all that's left to do now is you can take just a gel pen or whatever you have handy and just fill in these little score marks with a nice dark color, whether it be black or I guess you could do blue since we have some blue. And then just need to tie a little bow right through the slot. So you're going to close this up, add your little gift or whatever it is that you want to put in there, a nice little treat. And then from the back, just feed the ribbon through. Grab this and just trim this. Got my nice fabric scissors here, nice and sharp. And I have way too much ribbon here because I'm just going with what I have, and I'm gonna feed that through the 2 slots. When this thing's all together, it should be nice and flat on the back like that. And then literally just tie a little bow. And close it up like that. And then tie a little bow. Decide how long you want the loops to be. I think that's probably good. Let me flip this around a couple times and just make sure that the loops look okay. And then just trim the tails to whatever size feels good or looks good. Okay, so there's your little bow. And I'm going to trim the tail to about right about there. I think is cute. And then we have that little gold piece. And we're going to actually either pop dot it or hot glue it. And these scissors kind of are not the best. But it does the job. There we go. Then we'll take this little piece here and just glue it to the center of our bow. And that's pretty much it. Very simple little project. Hope you guys enjoy the freebie. If you make the freebie, or actually, yeah, if you make the freebie or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the 22,000 plus streamers that inspire us. So head on over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in the little URL here directly. It'll take you straight to the site. And if you enjoyed the video, please take a moment and visit our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new freebie or paid product or any of our tutorials. So yeah, I got some fresh milk ready to go. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.